So about 2 weeks ago, my wife and I were on vacation in New York City, and we ate at this amazing taco place called Tacombi. We were at this location here at the bottom of the Empire State Building, and it was amazing tacos, a lot of fun. So when we were handed the menu, the first time we went there, this is part of the menu here, and of course, I immediately thought about data because when you look at a particular row, here you right here in column C, you fill in the quantity that you want for each item for your order and hand it back to the server. But let's look at this one here. This is my favorite, tacos al pastor. We know that all of these tacos belong to this category tacos. We know that these belong to the category entradas, but Excel doesn't know that. So that is the thing. Let's just check this little box and imagine that here are all the orders for all the different stores, all the different locations. Imagine at the end of the day we get this, and our scenario is that we have to analyze the data and create a bunch of pivot tables to see what's going on for that particular day, or maybe it's a week. So these are all the orders across all the locations, and how would we analyze this data? Well, that is the thing. Pivot tables are amazing. You could also use formulas, but pivots can do so many things, and you almost never have to write a formula unless maybe you do a calculated field. Anyways, let's go to the next sheet here and see what we have to do. So we know that we're given this layout here, okay? That's the layout that we get, all the orders per item at the end of the day, and we want to create pivots like this. So here is a really simple pivot table, but you can do tons of things with pivots. How do we get from this over here to that? These little pivots, right? So here's what we obviously have to do is rearrange the data to look like this in the center here. We want to have each item is a separate column: quantity, item, category, price, and everything's in these neat little rows. So we know that for rice and beans we had 38 orders. This is the category for rice and beans, and each item costs $3.95. So just to emphasize that, I'm just going to slide this up, and you're going to see that yes, tacos is the category. We've got, let me just move this down a little bit. So for this one, black bean and sweet potato, there's 38 orders. The price is $3.95, and the category is tacos. All right, so how are we going to rearrange this data to look like this? Well, this is sort of the fun part. There are so many ways to do it, and you might have some ideas as well, but I'm going to just run you through 4 quick ways. Hopefully, I'll explain this quickly. So solution A, based on column L array formula, well, what is this? I mean, a lot of my solutions have a little counter here. That's pretty simple. But look at this array formula. And what does this do? Here we have this array, right? Well, what it's doing is this. It's getting the row numbers for all the items in here. All of these items have to have a price. They're not giving away their food for free. They might not have an order, right? Who knows? This could be blank, but they have to have a price. So I just said, hey, if these are numbers, give me the row numbers. So notice these guys here, row 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and then down here it skips to rows 14 to row 22. That's why I love array formulas for this kind of thing. They're so easy, so fast. So we get all those row numbers out of here. And then step 3 over here, I also want to get the row numbers for the categories. So right, this is category here, and in the end it's over there in column P. But we want to get row 6, row 13, row 24, and over here we are, if you look at this simple if formula, it's just repeating all the way down. And then at the end, step 4 is simply using indexes. Indexes just say, hey, point at something and tell me which one you want. You want the first one, the second one, the third one. So that's what it's doing for all of these. Notice how, look up here in the formula bar, you see index being used, maybe just referring to a different counter, right, to go to the correct location. So let's move on to solution number B here. Um, Here we have something similar. We have a match formula this time. Now what is it doing? Well, we have this little helper over here. So there's no array formula. Some people don't like arrays because you have to press Control Shift Enter and the logic is more advanced. But here I have a very simple formula that's just looking across, kind of doing a similar thing and saying, hey, is this text? If it is, this is an item because we want to get the row number, sort of a counter number every time we see these items. So we don't want this one, that's a category. We don't want this as a blank, another category. We want this one. So you notice how this is the last item here for the group entrada. So we get a 5, then the 5 repeats, and then we get 6, a new number. It increments, and it keeps incrementing all the way down, and then it stops again, and we just repeat the 14 until we get a new one here, get 15. So that's kind of the logic here. If you don't want array formulas, it'll take a couple more steps, but it can definitely be done. So I have this match to look for the counter over here, get that number. Step 4 and step 5, a little trickier. Maybe you have a better way to do it, but I want to repeat the position for the category. So a 1 here, and this is the 8th one down here for tacos, and then campechanos is the 19th. So you see that here as well. The 1s repeat, the 8s repeat in the 19s and the 23, etc. So that over here, once again, we can use our indexes and just pull all of that information out of our menu over there, sort of the non-normalized. Now, with the data like this, column headers at the top, neat little rows for each different piece of information that we have, all 4 of them, and each row tells us a little story. Now we can make a pivot out of this. So let's keep going here. Solution C. This one is possibly my favorite because I had to play around with it. I'm learning get and transform, and how can we once again, take this data that is not normalized and put it into this format? Well, believe it or not, it was very, very simple. This get and transform. Let's just click over here, and off to the side of the screen, I'm going to click and show you the query. So we have to, first thing is put some column headers here, right? If I just go back and look at our data, I had to put these column headers. I had to turn this into a table, right? And now over here, you see there's just these, if you can see the applied steps, I'll move this over. Some very simple little steps here, and I was within about 1 or 2 minutes, I was able to create this perfectly normalized data set here, which looks exactly like the other ones. And that is what gives us, let me just close that, gives us this part here. So if you were to change any of this, all you have to do is refresh the query and you get this. So I think over here I have some of the steps to start with. Let's just slide this over, and you see what I did here. Add the column headers, highlight the menu data, convert it to a table, load it into get and transform, and then there's just some very simple steps to turn it into this. Now, solution D, the last one, kind of for fun. This is your quick band-aid approach. I have just one very simple formula here, just this little guy here, this if statement. If this is sort of your quick and dirty solution. Over here, it's just repeating the category, and then this part is just to tell the pivot we want to have a little filter to ignore anything that is a 0, right? Because that's not really part of the data. Only the 1s are part of the data. And just to prove that this works, I created a pivot over here that says what is the average item price per category. Not how many were sold, but just what we're selling it for per item. So I was able to create that pivot within maybe just 10 seconds. Now, finally, over here we have the pivots. This is, I believe, is based off of solution C, but you can make pivots based on any of these 4 solutions because the end result, this area here, is always the same. So this was kind of fun. I loved eating at this place, Tacombi. I would definitely like to go back. Maybe they will create or start a location here in the Toronto area. That would be amazing. I would be there every week. So if you want to learn more about Tacombi, here's their website, their locations. If you want to learn about pivot tables, there's an amazing course by John Michelotis. And then if you want to learn Get and Transform, I'm currently taking this course. It is by Ken Puls and Miguel Escobar. Amazing course to learn how to move your data around and put it into the perfect format.